Welcome. I'm back with another chapter reading. I'm back with another reading from Stolen Legacy. You know what I mean? The truth about our rise. The truth about, what we forge. The truth about, how our way of life, our culture was adopted in other cultures. How our culture helped other cultures along to become civilized, to become educated, to know how to, you know, fish, hunt, fight. You know what I mean? The necessities to survive on this rock. You got what I'm saying? You feel me? Anywho's anyway, please go to my YouTube channel, OFM Kemet Edition. Subscribe, like, share, comment, run it up. You got what I'm saying. And for those of you out there doing it incognito, I get you. I can't be mad at you. You know what I mean? I can't be mad at you at all. You got what I'm saying. We are in a society where that secrecy is the key. You got what I'm saying? Secrecy is the key to it all. So I say to you, this right here. You know what I mean? You can keep your life a secret. You can remain not wanting to help people. But know this, understand this, because I stand on this. You got what I'm saying? Everything come back around. What you give the universe, boomerang back around in the universe. So wherever you're standing and whatever you have thrown out into the universe, it's gonna find. It's gonna find you. And it's not for you to ask why this is happening to me. Understand what you've done. Understand why you did what you done. Understand, are you woman or you man enough to suffer the consequences? Because it ain't always jail. It's not always death. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes your actions promote a reaction that you may not feel until a decade later. You feel what I'm saying? And when you feel it a decade later, if you're not in the know, if you're not in the how to resolve this issue, you late. You late. You dead. You know what I mean? That's what I said. You're dead. D-E-A-D. Dead pool. You have what I'm saying. You a dead pool. Look, let's get into this chapter reading. And we're still on chapter 4, but we're on part B. And part B does not have a lot of parts to it. So after B is C, after C is D. Now D has some parts to it, I believe. Now D just long. You got what I'm saying? It's a big chapter. But then again, like I said, it got some parts because there's 4, there's 3. Yeah, there's 4, there's 3. And I really don't see a 1 and 2, but like I said, you know what I mean, it's a part 3 and it's a part 4 to the last part of chapter 4. But right now, we're going to deal with B, and the title of B is The Royal Library of Thebes. The Meniphethenon is described. It was also looted by invading armies. Now, let's go and get into this. And I see already it's a name in here that I've been speaking about. So let's get into this, you know what I mean? But when we read a brief sketch of the magnificence of the Theban Royal Library, the Meniphethenon, we even see a better picture and are bound to admit that Egypt was the storehouse of ancient culture and that the culture was preserved in the form of literature stored away in her great libraries and temples. It surely was. It surely was. You know what I mean? There are things in the now that they're finding in the sea, in the ocean. You know what I mean? I mean sculptures. You got what I'm saying? Pillars. You know what I mean? And they have found a city. You know what I mean? A part of Kemet. You know what I mean? Like a throne room for Osiris. You feel what I'm saying? And when you think about what happened to Osiris in his last days on the funeral day, what they did, they dismembered him and out to the sea, right? Right? Out to the ocean, right? Right? And his throne room, his where his palace or however it was, is underwater now. You got what I'm saying? Anywho, let's get back into this. You know, I say this, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Then I'm gonna shoot back into this reading. Now, in those before Christ days, you know what I mean, it was not logical to get to the bottom of the ocean. There was nothing that we probably could understood, or there was nothing put in place that we was trying that. There's nothing in history that explains that. You got what I'm saying? That tells you we've tried that. So how I viewed that, how I processed that when I first heard about it, I said, man, what did Osiris do to whom we pray to cover up the things, the monuments, the statues, the legacy of Osiris? You got what I'm saying? What did Osiris do for that to be covered up? Because if it wasn't for the books, if it wasn't for gossip, if it wasn't for history, literature, which is books, you know what I mean? Will we know of Osiris? Will we know? Will we know of Osiris? Because if they went and chipped the hieroglyphics and cleaned everything up where that Osiris was never a name in Kemet, we would have no knowledge, right? We will have no knowledge of Osiris, right? Right? Because see, the city is what? Covered up. Is at the bottom of the ocean. You feel what I'm saying? Where the bottom of the river, the bottom of the Nile, whatever that is right there, is at the bottom of it. So I say this, you know what I mean, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, that whom we pray to, if wanted to erase you from history, it's possible. It's very possible. Very possible. And you know, I get tired of people not understanding whom we pray to. I get tired of people, you know, not understanding that whom we pray to has taken hands out of most everything that we put our hands into until we beg, until we ask for mercy, until we're asking for help. You got what I'm saying? You feel me? See, some things are allowed because we're being tested every day of our life. You hear me? Some things are being allowed, and they have been allowed since the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve, because we are tested every day of our life. Let's go and get back into this reading. Great as the Royal Library of Alexandria might have been, we see in the Van Royal Library something far more magnificent and far more representative of the true greatness of our ancient Egypt. I'm going to back it up a little bit because maybe you will understand this. Isn't there things that you have let your child or your children do so that they can understand the consequences? I mean, you didn't raise your voice at them. You didn't put them on punishment. You didn't even go get the belt and whoop them, right? Right? You went on and let them suffer the consequences, right? I rest my case. You feel me? Whom we pray to, yeah, I rest my case. Like I said, that's my father, that's my mother in this spirituality. In my reality, Willie Stanley Sr., and I'm gonna go on and tell you my mother maiden name, Marilyn Monroe Smith. They are the women and man. They are the women and man that was picked to nurture me. And I don't feel they did a bad job. I really don't. I really don't. I feel they did a wonderful job. And whom I pray to must feel they did a wonderful job. But why? They're still here. They're still here. Alive, living, breathing, good. You understand me? Good. On the left of the steps leading to the second court, there is still seen the pedestal of the enormous granite statue of Ramses, the largest that ever existed in Egypt according to Theodorus. Its height has been calculated at 54 feet and its weight at 887 and 1/4 tons. A marvel to the modern mind, the interior face of the wall of the pylon represents the wars of Ramses III. The Osiris pillars of the second court are the monolithic figures 16 cubits in height, supplying the place of columns, and at the foot of the steps leading from the court to the next hall beyond, where there were two sitting statues of the king. The head of one of these was of red granite, known by the name of Young Memnon, was taken away by Belzoni, and is now a principal ornament of the British Museum. Beyond this are the remains of a hall 133 feet broad by 100 feet long, supported by 48 columns, 12 of which are 32 feet in height and 21 feet in circumference. On different parts of the columns and the walls are represented acts of homage by the king to the principal deities of the Theban pantheon and the gracious promises which they make him in return. Now let me backtrack this for you. You see the part right here where it said the British, it says they took the head off the statue of Young Memnon, and then they took it over to Belzoni, and now it's in the British Museum. You get me? Let me tell you something. It doesn't make sense to me how the British can hold on to a possession that belongs in Kemet. You know what I mean? That's a treasure. You feel what I'm saying? But it belongs to Africa. And that's why I say, I say this to you that's viewing, and I've spoken to, hopefully they was really listening. Hopefully they saw it, the Africans in Africa. And you know what I've been explaining to them, you know what I mean? The British has always had control of Africa. There has always been an African appointed, made leader, made a voice, made a dictator. You feel what I'm saying? But the British has their hands in Africa. And where is Britain? That's over Europe, right? Right? I say this to you again, you know what I mean? When I say that when Alexander the Great conquered Kemet, a lot of, a lot of history went down to South Africa, the southern part of Africa. And when I say to you, during the days of slavery, they didn't go get slaves from the top of Africa. You got what I'm saying? They went down to the south part of Africa and rounded up a bunch of slaves. So what do you think they knew was already up in upper Africa? Why didn't they go up there and mess with them? Why you think? Because there are people up there ruling that part of Africa. You got what I'm saying? So when you think about a lot of the wars, a lot of battles, the rebellions, the revolutions in Africa, who is the puppet master? Who is sitting in the middle? You got what I'm saying? Pulling that string over there with the Houthis. Who is that sitting in the middle pulling their strings with the Tutsis? You got what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't know all the tribe names in Africa. I don't know all of them. I do know the Houthis because I seen a movie. I think it's called Rwanda, Hotel Rwanda, and I really like that movie. So I look at it over and over and over and over and over. You got what I'm saying? And who they was warring against, you know what I mean? I forgot the name of the tribe. I know it could have been Tutsis, you know what I mean? Anyway, anywho, the British was in the middle of that. You know what I mean? They came and saved the Houthis. I believe it was the Houthis. They came in and saved the Houthis, but you know what I mean? You still doing business with the other tribe. And instead of you being a peacemaker, what have you done? What really have you done? Sometimes it's not worth to have another a foreign voice in your country telling you how to dictate. Sometimes it's not worth it. You got what it's just not. In another sculpture, the two chief divinities, yeah. In another sculpture, the two chief divinities of Egypt invest him with the emblems of military and civil dominion. The scimitar, the scourge, and the pedon beneath the 23 sons of Ramses appears in procession, bearing the emblems of their respective high offices in the state, their names being inscribed above them. The man had 23 sons, 23 kids, right? Is that what it said? The 23 what? The 23 sons of Ramses. Dang. The man had a large family. Large family. 9 smaller apartments, 2 of them still preserved and supported by columns, lay behind the hall. On the jambs of the first of these apartments are sculptured Thoth, the inventor of letters, and the goddess Soph, with the title of Lady of Letters. And the president of the Hall of Books accompanied the former with an emblem of the sense of sight and the latter of hearing. There is no doubt that this is the sacred library which Theodorus describes as the inscribed dispensary of the mind. It had an astronomical ceiling in which the 12 Egyptian months are represented, with an inscription from which important inferences have been drawn respecting the chronology of the reign of Ramses III. On the walls in the procession of priests carrying the sacred arts, and in the next apartment, the last that now remains, the king is presenting offerings to the various divinities. Ancient Egypt by J. Kendrick B.K. Well, that's the end of that chapter. That's the end of that chapter, part B, reading. And I just say this to you, you know what I mean? You know, a lot of these countries, you know what I'm saying, your dictator may be of you, look like you, talk like you, walk like you. But there's a foreign power behind that dictator. And it's time to, you know what I mean, really process some things. You know, when you look at the Hamas and Israel war, you know, for days, for weeks, we're running around trying to figure who the Hamas is. Then they change it over to the look, I'm gonna tell you like this. You got what I'm saying? You feel me? There's a lot of politics in war. There's a lot of BS in the news. You understand me? And if you don't pay attention, the names will confuse you. if you don't pay attention, you will find yourself speaking out, and you will find yourself in a place of ignorance. You understand me? A place of being ignorant, looking ignorant. You get me? So I say to you this right here, take your time. Take your time, look at the playing field, understand who's on the playing field, why they're on the playing field, and then get to talking. Then get to speaking. Then start getting your understanding out to the public. Anywho, anyways, I am the Nasty Pastor. Please go to my YouTube channel, OFM Kemet Edition. Subscribe, like, share, comment. You know it. Run it up, and I love you.